With these gears right here, we can finally crawl with the Ryft. Ha! So, for this video, we're going to be installing the axial gears right here in this, which is rumored to cut the ratio in half, meaning it'll crawl. Let's get started. Let's see what you get in the kit. There you go. There's your part number. I'll also have that link down below. Here are the gears. Oh man, so much beef. I like that. Of course, you get the instructions. You gotta have that, right? So here's the servo saver. This fits the Spectrum 107 servo. I will not be using that at all. I did some digging into Mjolnir and got the Micro 99 out of it. So yeah, now I gotta find another one of these. They're kind of hard to get right now. And you do get some bearings. They are metal shielded, but this is inside the transmission, so everything should be just fine. So, now that we've seen all that, we get to work. This is my Ryft. Now, granted, it is pretty well modified, but the actual procedure to get into here and do all this is going to be the same as if you have a box stock one. So let me just show you real quick. I've got all kinds of Vitavon all over the place. Axles, links, I've got the Vitavon transmission, so I guess we get to see if these gears fit into that. Got a Swaybar, I've got some DSM bungee up front to control the droop on this thing. So with that said, now we're going to take some things apart. And by taking things apart, it's really simple to get apart. I'm just go ahead and get into this. I'm going to cut to the chase on it. Screw here, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a total of like what, 10 screws? So you get that. Go ahead and pull the wheels and tires just to make things easier. Go ahead and take the shocks loose at both ends right there, and it'll drop down. On mine, because I had the DSM in the tubes, I got to take that apart as well. But if you don't have that, then you won't have to mess with that. When you get all that loose, the entire everything falls right down, and you can work on it super simple. And that's what we're going to do. Once you've got those bolts out that I just showed you, you'll end up with this right here. This is what we got to dig into. So, going to remove the ESC, take the motor wires loose, and just set that off to the side. Underneath, you've got some screws that I probably need to remove my sticker to get to, and then the whole transmission will simply lift right up and off. The dig servo is going to go right here. Not dig servo, the 2-speed servo. Yeah, I got SV2 on the brain here. So anyway, that's where the Micro 99 is going to go. Now the book shows to remove the motor. I'm not exactly sure that I needed to do that, since all we're getting into is the back half of the transmission, but maybe I'm missing something. But anyway, we get to look at the Polar Pro BL 540XL 2100 kV. Haha! There are 5 screws to get into this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to open this thing up and shove some new gears in here. One thing I noticed, it's just pictures. I mean, I guess the pictures are good enough, but there's no actual instructions here. So, not too bad. I mean, this is where we're at right now, so yeah, I can get it. So, I'm at the point now of putting this gear on this small part right there. At no point in the instructions does it actually say to take the spur gear off. But to get it onto there is no other way. So I guess I'm going to take the spur gear off, and this is going to go right down into there. And then this goes over the square, and that's what actually makes your selection from high to low. So when you get the shaft out, you got to remove that E-clip right there. Do not let that thing fling out anywhere. It will fling and it'll be gone. Now this is your low gear. See that slop? This means the transmission is going to be quite a bit sloppier than what it was previously, both in high and low range, because they're both the same way. Now this is the gear that came out of it. You see that nice big square drive? That does not go back in it. Instead, this one does. That goes right up on it, and that gives you your high speed. Okay, this part requires 2 hands. So, this is what actually selects your gears right here. So you're going to want a little bit of light grease on this. Don't pack this full of grease, but you need to grease that a little bit. So there's going to be a neutral. See, these are what's going to be driving the counter gears in the transmission. So you put this in the forward. That's going to be your low range. See how small the gear is versus the larger gear? Smaller gear here, bigger gear here. There's your low range. Bigger gear here, smaller gear here. It's going to be faster. So hopefully all my gear hears will work there. But this is going to be the slop that you're going to have in the transmission that you did not have before. So, but unfortunately the slop is kind of needed, you know, to shift it back and forth. The tightest 2-speed transmission I've ever messed with is actually the Traxxas transmission, and for the TRX4, and it's good and tight for first gear, so it's got the accuracy. In second gear, it's still loose. But anyway, this right here is ready to go back in the case. New gear right here just simply slides on the existing shaft, nice and easy, and that goes in right down into there before you actually put all this stuff back in, because I don't know, it might fit, could be a little bit tight. So this setup right here is a little bit different than what I'm used to. This actually screws in. It is threaded, and then you have this right here that it slides on here, and then this also slides in the housing. So this is really well secured. Most of the times it's just simply one of them, and the actual shifting mechanism keeps all this in alignment. That's interesting. So I got this in. I had to pull these gears back out, so yeah, that spur gear's got to come off. And hopefully you guys can see this. I'm going to try to operate it. Once the back half of the case is on and everything is in alignment, it'll actually work. There we go, right there. You can see how all that works. So the square on this shaft actually drives either one of these gears, and that transfers all the way through and out to the output. So as far as smoothness goes, the bore into here, you know, feels good. I mean, I think it's going to be perfect. Now I got to get the last gear on, the output gear. That's also the diff. And while I've got this apart, I'm going to check those ring gear bolts or the bull gear bolts. Just because if those things are loose, you'll kill these gears inside. That's one thing that I've found on my Ryft, is that all 4 of those screws on all 3 discs were not quite that tight. And I do believe that's a lot of the issue that we're seeing with the diffs stripping out, along with the, you know, washer shim issue. So there it is, guys. Everything looks good. Add a little bit more grease to these gears right here, even though the grease stayed on pretty well. Oh, in case you're wondering what grease I'm using, I've been buying this cheap stuff right here. And I say cheap because it's not very expensive. And I'll put a link to that down below. I've been getting mine from Amazon. Seems to work pretty good. It sticks to me pretty well. So this is a beefy transmission. I mean, there's so much beef here. Now I get to put the outside on it. Let's see here. Get that right there. Got to take the screws out, but that cover right there has to come off so we can get to everything we need to get to and get the shafts out of there so we can get this thing set up. So here we are. I've got it all back together. Wow, there is. So out to the back, this way is going to be the high gear, and forward is going to be the low gear. And I don't know if I can show it to you real quick, but we'll try. Maybe we can see a little bit. Watch those. We're going to shift it back to the high. There is a pretty big difference. And I don't believe at the time that Arthur designed this transmission case and all that, I don't believe we actually had the low gears available anywhere. Maybe Horizon did somewhere, but I gotta tell you guys, this thing went in perfectly. I mean, wow, impressive. This is one solid beast of a transmission. I'm pretty sure this thing could handle, heck, Savage Flux or something. I mean, this is a lot of beef here, really. Okay, so fitting the Micro 99. I'm sure as time goes on, we may get a horn specific for this. I'm just using a plastic horn. So as you guys can see, the alignment goes right into the middle of the horn. So what I'm going to do, very gently, I'm going to add a little bit of heat to the plastic horn and give it an offset and bring it up so it goes on top of this. This is not the ideal way to do this. I'm sure over time we'll come up with a better way. You can see how this is rotating, so it can't come undone. So don't worry about that. And basically you have an arc from the horn, and that's what you're seeing right here. So that is able to actually turn a little bit and actually work with the horn. Like I said, this is not ideal, and I'm sure without a doubt we'll come up with a better way soon. But for now, this will work. I got the endpoint set. There is not a lot of movement. And I want you guys to see on the radio, you only have 18% in the low and 20% in the back. So not a lot of throw is needed here, guys. And when you're setting this up, make sure you're rotating it like this, which is in neutral right now, kind of like that. Make sure you're rotating that and putting some resistance on here. If not, you could get into a situation like this right here. Well, actually that one went in, but the teeth could go up against each other. And at that point, you'll get a wrong setting here. And again, you could burn up a servo. We don't want that. Well, guys, it's in dark outside. Can't go give it the drive. What I can show you is a difference in wheel speed. Do not try this at home, by the way, even though I'm at home. This is neutral. All right, we got the neutral. We're going to go into first gear or low gear. First gear, low gear. Second gear. Oh boy. Gotta make sure I'm in the clear. This could be rough. So, pretty big difference, right? So it appears first gear is low enough to bounce crawl. I'm not going to say it will crawl, but I'll give it the bounce crawl. And the bounce crawl is when like a real bouncer is in that low gear, but it's still higher than most of the other ones, you know? So will it crawl? I'm thinking yes, but don't think it's going to competition crawl. It's just not there. And it's not meant to be there. So anyway, guys, hopefully you like this whole deal putting it together. I tried to show some details. Now, as far as the instructions go, it didn't really give instructions. It was just pictures. So it is what it is. I tried to show you guys as much as I could. So in the description, I'm going to put a link to everything on here. We're talking the vehicle itself, the Vitavon parts, the low gear set, and the motor, the servo, ESC, everything I can find will be down in that description along with the grease I'm using. So guys, hopefully you liked the video. Check that description, use those links, AMain, eBay, Amazon, and Horizon. And guys, thank you all for watching. Guys, if you like what you see, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring that bell. So, in the description, there's a link to become a channel member. If you want to become a channel member, it's a very simple $2, $5, $10, or if you really got some money, $25 a month. It's a simple way to support the channel. So, get that, and I am doing monthly giveaways for members only, so you might want to consider it. So, guys, use those links. Make sure you're subscribed. Thank you all for watching.